I want to bring in my wonderful Tuesday night panel, former Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson and Executive Director of the Menzies Research Centre, Nick Cater. Gents, welcome. Let's go to this rewriting of history. Not a new phenomenon. Soviets did it well, best in the business, but we've reached new levels now and the stuff of Orwell's 1984 is coming to life on an almost daily basis. Yesterday, we saw children's books by Enid Blyton come under attack. Today, it's public monuments in the firing line. John, there's a new edict out of the Welsh government. Statues of old white men, you think Lord Nelson, Duke of Wellington, could be hidden or destroyed to create what they call the right historical narrative. Now, what on earth does this mean?
Well, it's deeply concerning, as you said, to create the right historical narrative. In other words, it can be a fairy tale if it happens to suit the agenda of the zeitgeist of the moment. Let me go to another English, famous white English figurehead, without whom none of us would be present, Winston Churchill. He wrote in 1933 that any culture which does not pass on to its children its story, its religious beliefs and its heroes, is in effect saying that that culture is null and void, thus leaving young people without a sense of place, direction and purpose, and, here's the rub, open to persuasion, as Karl Marx said they would be. This is all about creating historical void or rewriting history where you can't avoid it altogether in order to supplant it with dangerous new narratives. It's about saying we're inheriting a culture that was bad, not worth defending. It is frankly pretty much driven by cultural Marxism. And here you have it, the West essentially being infiltrated by cultural Marxists, a long march through the West. And it is very dangerous. It's taken us to a very weak place.
Nick, Conservatives were slow to wake up to this. I mean, this has been going on now for probably 30 years. But the debate about it, the fight about it, really seems to have been heightened only in the last 10 years. I remember when I worked for the PM, people would raise it. You'd have a couple of isolated examples, but nothing like we're seeing now. James Bond's being written, Roald Dahl's being written, Enid Blyton, we covered that yesterday. All these phrases, you can't even say, don't be an idiot. And John's right. It's not about the books per se. It's about trying to erase everything we hold up to be good in Western literature and Western society so that you can create a vacuum, and into the vacuum comes a big state and a denial of the rights of the individual. When are we going to stand up to it?
Well, look, I think it's fair enough for people to criticise our history. They can criticise our great canons of literature. I'm not sure if I put Enid Blyton in that category, but, beloved by children over many, many eras. But look, it's fair enough to do that.
I love Enid Blyton.
I'm on thin ice here, obviously. Like, it's fair enough to criticise, but first you've got to know it. And of course, by destroying it, by getting this, destroying statues, by wiping out any trace of, disreputable or people considered to be disreputable, you're not allowing people to learn our history from now on. They grow up in a vacuum. And the same is true for literature, incidentally. I mean, we all love reading old books, but, part of the charm of it is to see how people, the words people used in former times, the descriptions they gave, even if they might now be considered, not part of a public conversation. I don't know how we can scrub the phrase, don't be an idiot, though. If that's the case, I think half my columns will be wiped from the Australia when I'm talking about Labor's policy right now.
Well, I can confirm it on the Australian website this afternoon. Hatchett, who's the publisher of Enid Blyton, said those phrases will go. I mean, they are serious. The writing's already underway. 80 books, I'm told, are being affected. Let's go to this energy price announcement we're likely to have.
I can't help it.
Sorry, John.
Just got to make this point. So it's absolutely fine to subject our children to early sexualisation of the most extraordinary type when they're very early in age, but they can't read Enid Blyton as she wrote it. I mean, I rest my case.
This is the point I made last night on the show. The stuff that kids see online, on their devices, in the classroom, for goodness sake, pales into insignificance. That stuff is just horrific, and that's allowed, but Enid Blyton, don't be an idiot's taken out.